All right, like I said, this week, nothing new as far as what we've learned the last few weeks, as far as our right triangle trig, and then law of sines and cosines works for any triangle. But we're just going to have word problems. And these word problems were made up by kids we had years ago. We just said, Mr. Hudson and I, when he was still here, just had kids make up problems, and then we used them for practice and then for the quiz and stuff. So some of them aren't worded the best, but I think you guys can figure them out. But just going through law of sines real quick again, and law of cosines. Side A over the sine of angle A equals side B over the sine of angle B, and side C over the sine of A. And again, we don't do all three at once. We just do two at a time, right? We cross multiply and divide to solve them. All right, then our law of cosines, just to review them quick. Depending on which, information we're given, all right, you got a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of angle A. Or, like if we got side angle side and angle A was the angle they gave us, we would have used this one, right? If we got side and side A was the longest, we use that one, right? Remember? And then you just interchange the A's and the B's and the C's, but this one would have been B squared, and then put the A where the B was. C can stay where it was. Or, depending what information we're given, if angle C was the angle they gave us, one side angle side, we'd use this one. And A and B over here. Okay, and then remember, just quick review, if we got some of our problems were right triangles. Maybe if you want to do it that way. So remember, this would be side A, this is side B, and side C is our hypotenuse, and then the Pythagorean theorem works. And then you got SOHCAHTOA if you want. Remember, sine was opposite side over hypotenuse, and a lot of times we'll just, if we say theta's over here where B is, let's say. All right, then opposite side is B and hypotenuse is C. Hypotenuse is always C, right? If theta's up there, if we're looking at the sine of angle A, opposite side's A and hypotenuse is still C, right? Cosine is adjacent. So if I'm looking at theta here, it would be A over C. And then tangent, if theta's there at B, would be opposite B over adjacent A. Okay, so some of your word problems might be a right triangle, but you could still use the law of sines for the right triangles. But usually that's when we used those, was when they weren't for non-right triangles. But those are the basic things we've learned the last few weeks, okay? So we're just going to draw a picture of information we're given and then answer the question that they're asking us, okay? So here's one here, all right? Everybody ever watched Full House? This was, like I said, it's an old show, but that's how long ago that we had these kids make these up. So it says, Kimmy drives 7 miles to DJ's house. Then Kimmy and DJ drive 18 miles to Steve's house. Later, they go all the way, they all go back to Kimmy's house. And then if the angle at Kimmy's house is 83 degrees and the angle at DJ's house is 29 degrees, how far is Steve's house from Kimmy's house? Okay? So, let's say Kimmy's here and DJ's up here and Steve's over here. We're just going to draw a little triangle to each house. A line to each. There's a triangle in it, okay? It says Kimmy goes from her house to DJ's, and it's 7 miles, so that side would be 7. And then together they go 18 miles to Steve's, so that would be here. And the angle at Kimmy's house is 83 degrees. And the angle at DJ's house is 29. How far is Steve's house from Kimmy's? So we're looking for that. So it's just, it's just going to be like that. We're going to give you some information. You draw a picture of the triangle and then figure it out. So, we could do it a couple ways. We could do law of cosines. We got side, angle, side, right? And we could look for this one. But since I've got this angle and the opposite side, and this angle, I'm looking for that, I could do law of sines, right? So I think I'd probably use law of sines because that's a little easier than cosines, right? A little less work. So then we just set it up. All right, 18 over the sine of 83. Remember, it's the one opposite. And then we're looking for how far it is from Steve's back to Kimmy's. All right, over the sine of the opposite angle, which was 29. Does that make sense? So, we could have used either one in this situation because you got the side, angle, side, but usually I use law of sines. If I got an angle and a side opposite, and either another angle or another side. So we got more information than we really need, but that's okay. So then cross multiply, right? So we'll just make this x instead of a question mark. So x times the sine of 83 equals 18 times the sine of 29. And then we're going to divide by the sine of 83. And that's just going to give us how far it is. All right. And when you do that, again, make sure you're in degree mode, right? That comes out, I got 8.8. That would be miles, since they're talking about miles. All right. Hey, you owe me a quiz, don't you? When are you going to take that? Well, we don't have class tomorrow. You guys know that, right? Or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right?
Why?
Late start tomorrow. You guys know anything that's going on? Tuesday and Wednesday, 3-hour late start this week. So you don't have to be back here till what, 10:30? Which is
10:30.
Yeah. Tomorrow's the 11th and the 12th is Wednesday, right? Grades 9, 11, and 12 report by 10:35. All right, and you'll go to third period when you get here. You won't even come here or second because of testing. Okay, so Andrew, when are you going to take care of that? Thursday. You're going to forget everything. You're going to remember everything? You just want to sit down and get it over with right now. Alex, what? Give it this thing. Give it to me. I'm going to take it. Do it. Yeah. All right. Does that make sense? Questions? All right. You guys try this one, okay? You got down here? No, I got on the next slide. All right, figure out that one, please. Give you a few minutes, and then we'll go over it. You're not second guessing yourself again, are you? Glue. Picture. I'll figure it out. It says no battery, says it must die. All right, so let's see how you did. So we got Kevin. Then he goes to the store and he visits Mike at the hospital, right? All right. So first he got a card at the store. He drove 13 miles to the store. After giving Mike the card at the hospital, he drove 17 miles home. There's the hospital back to his house. And the angle at Kevin's house is 49 degrees. How far is the store from the hospital? Okay, so we got side angle side. So only I can use what? Law of cosines, right? So we're going to say x squared, that side, equals 13 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 13 times 17 times the cosine of 49. So this is one of those where we can put it all in the calculator, right? So we do that. My calculator will come up. There we go. Again, make sure you're in degree mode. It should be, because that's all you've been doing here lately. I'm checking now to make sure. Okay. All right, so I just put that all in here. 13 squared plus 17 squared minus 2. 13, 17 cosine 49. Remember, now that's what x squared equals, right? 168. So what do I got to do? Remember to do square root that, right? So I go second for square root, second answer, so I don't have to type it in. 12.96, which is basically 13 miles, right? Making sense, this stuff? Nothing really new, is it? All right. So, since we don't have any class until Thursday, I got a little worksheet for you guys. You got a half hour to work on it. And get as many as you can done. All right, we'll go over them Thursday. It's like our practice quiz, basically. And just practice on Thursday. We'll have a quiz over stuff like this on Friday. Okay? Any issues? Any questions? All right. Good job. Keep working today on this little worksheet. And then we'll, like I said, go over it